Hello and welcome to the afternoon market update from Nirmal. I am Hiral Dadia. Clearly, you've seen mayhem in terms of the Dalal Street in today's session. We did see a gap down opening in today's day of trade. We did open gap down to the tune of almost 4%, and that's exactly what SGX Nifty was indicating. It's mainly the US-China trade war that is impacting global markets, and in turn, we are seeing the repercussions on the domestic markets as well. Overall, if you go to see right now, markets are near the day's lowest levels. You have Nifty, which is down almost around, say, 5%, but we're still hovering between that 9,350 to 9,400 mark. That's the band, that 50-point range that we are looking at. Interestingly, if you talk about Nifty futures as well, they are trading at a discount of almost around 25 to 30 points. So that's something we need to note over here. Sensex also, it's around that 32,000 mark, seeing cuts in today's session. In fact, if you talk about Bank Nifty, the underperformance vis-a-vis benchmark indices is higher on the financials, wherein Bank Nifty is down over 7% in trade right now. Broader markets, there is some bit of outperformance coming in from the broader markets if you have to compare them to the benchmark indices. However, there is pressure on that front as well, where you have the Midcap index, which is seeing cuts of almost little over 4%, whereas if you talk about the small cap index as well right now, that is down almost around 3% in trade. Let's quickly look at what the sectors are doing in today's session, because clearly metals was something which was on the forefront on the on the uptrend last week, and now today if you go to see, it's the biggest losing sector in today's session, seeing cuts in the range of almost around 7 to 8%. Apart from that, you have auto, real estate. All of these sectors are also trading under pressure. Only Pharma is the one which is seeing some bit of positive, positivity in today's session. It's up nearly 1%. In fact, it's Cipla which is the top gainer on the Nifty Pharma index. Overall, if you go to see, if you have to look at the market breadth as well, that's pretty much skewed, on towards the losers in today's session. So the market breadth is relatively weak in today's session. Apart from that, overall, if you see India VIX as well, that's jumped 27% in a single trading session. So that gives you the gravity as well as to what could be the kind of fall that we could see as well, because as we know, there is an inverse relationship with regards to VIX as well as how the markets perform. So that's something that we have been noting right now. But clearly, Nifty is below that 9,400 mark. Sensex is hovering around the 32,000 mark. And in today's session, as we open gap down, investors have lost almost little over 5 lakh crore rupees of wealth. So you can see the kind of wealth erosion that we have been witnessing. In fact, FIIs also have continued to, continued to be sellers in the month of April. So they have not been supportive, and we will need a lot of FI support to come in to give us that stability that we require in terms of where markets are concerned. Overall, let's quickly see what are the stocks that are making news in terms of top gainers. If you have to see on Nifty 50, it's only the Pharma pack, Cipla, Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, 3 counters that are seeing gains. Whereas if you see on the losing end, a couple of counters, Hindalco trading under pressure, Tata Motors, Vedanta, Bajaj Finance, ICICI Bank, IndusInd Bank, HDFC. These are a few of the names which are trading under pressure. If you have to look at the broader markets as well, companies like Swan Energy, Gayatri Projects, Mahindra CIE, Jain Irrigation, Radico Khaitan, these are a few of the names which are seeing gains, but marginal 4 to 5% is the kind of gains which is the highest, which is really on the lower footing. But Motherson Sumi, Bharat Forge, Federal Bank, JM Financial, these are a few of the counters which are on the losing end, upwards of almost 10 to 12%. Moving away from there, let's see if there are any stocks which are at a 52-week high or a 52-week low, because nothing is moving, at least if you have to look at Nifty 50, whereas you do have a Torrent Power which has hit a 52-week high in today's day of trade from BSE 500, whereas on the losing front you have stocks like Bank of India, Chalet Hotels, DB Corp, Godrej Industries, SH Kelkar. These counters have hit a 52-week high, a 52-week low, I beg your pardon, in intraday trading session. In terms of the movers and shakers, you have Moil. They've revised prices of various grades of manganese ore, and that's one of the reasons why we're seeing some bit of an up move coming in on a Moil. You have Cipla. Despite the weakness that we're seeing on the Dalal Street, that stock is on the firm footing, the top gainer as well on Nifty 50. Maruti reported zero sales numbers, and that's what is putting pressure on Maruti. And not only Maruti, majority of them have seen say 89 to 99% kind of a degrowth on the back of zero sales, zero production in the month of April, and that's what is putting the auto index under pressure. And simultaneously, it's having a repercussion on the metal index as well. It's the US-China trade war that is having a repercussion on the metal index. Overall, apart from that, Glenmark has surged in trade. Fortis is trading on the front foot because they've started online consultations for patients in 23 hospitals. SpiceJet, they've started operating maiden freighter flight from China to Delhi. So that's one of the reasons why SpiceJet has zoomed in today's session. Reliance Industries as well. S&P Global affirms the company's rating at BBB positive. So that's one of the reasons why that stock surged in trade in terms of yesterday's on the 30th of April. But now if you go to see, there is major pressure coming in on that front, as well as if you see in terms of SpiceJet as well as Fortis, which are trading under pressure because these were the newsmakers in terms of Thursday's session. But overall, if you go to see, a lot of movers and shakers that we are witnessing, and that's mainly based, again, if you see, on the back of stock reaction. Because if you talk about Aurobindo Pharma as well, they've received the final approval from the US FDA to manufacture and market flucytosine capsules, which are in the 250 and 500 mg version. So that's something which is in focus as well in today's day of trade. Apart from that, in terms of other counters, you have NMDC, which is a newsmaker. If you talk about their production and sales figures, that's something which is having an impact. In fact, it's the worst performer on the Nifty Metal Index. PNB Housing Finance as well. That stock is up around 3.5–4% in trade today. We already spoke about MOIL, IDFC First Bank, Hero Motor Corp, Axis, State Bank. These are a few of the counters that we have been watching out for as well on the back of news. But clearly, if you go to see, there is major pressure that we have been witnessing in today's day of trade. Clearly, where we go from here on is something that we need to watch out for, because there is going to be a major impact with regards to global cues that we would be witnessing, especially on the back of the US-China trade war that does seem to resume, and that could continue to have a bearing on our markets as well. But let's see how we end the session. There is pressure. If the pressure continues, what is the kind of low that we will be hitting in today's day of trade? That's all that we have in the afternoon market update. Thanks for watching. In fact, you could subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Thank you.